Hello guys, welcome to the Giraffe rig. We have one more video that I have to do, which is for the twisting part and the foot rig of the leg. For now we have the stretching, so the leg can stretch, right? And we have the volume maintain to turn that on and off, or we have the stretch to control either to have the stretch on or not. Blend back to FK, the stretch will go back to, not that one, this one. Okay, so that's all the things we probably need on the leg, but there's one thing left, which is going to be the twisting of the lower leg, because when we twist the ankle, you can see it's only twisting that little part, right? You know, in reality that we have multiple joints or skeletons down the way from the whatever this is, the ankle, right, to the ball, and we have two joints and they can twist properly. So let's actually achieve that. Okay, to do so, we just need a bunch of joints in the middle. So let's go for a simple approach. We're not gonna use ribbon or anything, but ribbon is actually the ultimate solution for this. But let's do something simpler because this is rigging 1, not advanced rigging. Okay, so here what we do is basically duplicate the knee joint, okay, and delete whatever underneath it. Okay, and just drag it down. Okay, and again and again. So we have like 3 joints. I can position them like this way. You can see now 1, 2, 3 here in the middle. Okay, and I want this one in the middle, this guy to be right in the middle. To achieve that, I can grab the knee joint and then the ankle joint, and then that knee 2 here do a constraint, and I can do a point constraint, and that's going to bring it to the center between those two. Okay, and then afterwards I can just delete that point constraint. That's just for the positioning purpose. And here we can grab this guy in the middle, right? And then the knee, right? And then the first one here we can do another constraint point to bring this guy to the middle between this guy and this guy, right? So we're trying to just basically evenly distribute those joints. So one more point constraint. Oops. Now they're actually this guy, and then the ankle, and then the knee 3, right? Constraint point to bring this guy to there. Right now we have our 3 joint evenly distributed, and I can delete all the point constraints I did, those 2 things, right? Now I have all the twisting joints. Okay, I can make them a little bit bigger so we can see them. Okay, so these are my twisting joints. So for now, they're not doing anything. And if you go unisolate those guys, you can see they're actually connected to that, right? That's not very nice. So let me actually parent that to the knee joint. Hit the P button to do that. Okay. Let me make the knee joint also a little bit bigger so we can see all the joints. Cool. All right. So let's talk about how we can make the twisting happening to happen. So first of all, when I rotate this joint, I want those joints to rotate with it, right? But this one will be rotate more than that, and that one will rotate just a little bit, right? So that we have the proper twisting. So if I do this, I'm expecting this one to do that, and this one to do a little bit lesser, and this one goes just a little bit. So we have this nice twisting happening in the middle. Okay, to do that, I need to use the rotation of the ankle and the rotation of this one, right? Those two, to determine the rotation of those guys in the middle. And I'm going to do that using a orient constraint. Okay, so I'm going to grab this guy, and the first joint go for constraint orient. And this time, I'm going to turn off the maintain offset. Okay. And then I'm going to do a orient constraint with just the constraining of one of the axes, which is the X. Okay, and then apply. Okay, so that way when I rotate this guy, you can see now that one rotates like halfway through, right? And then I don't want it to be halfway. I want it to be actually only 25% of this one's rotation and 75% of this one. So that means I have to define the weighting differently. Here, the ankle will have like 0.25, and the knee have 0.75. So that way we have the proper twisting. So this one rotates lesser. If I go for I don't know, 90 or 100, I should only see 25 on this guy, 23. Should be fun. Okay. Anyway, so when that is done, then I can do the same thing for the other joints. So this guy again, and then this guy, right? And then this one in the middle, one more constraint, but this time they're gonna be equal. So when I rotate, I'm rotating use the word, that's why. Let me rotate again 90 degree right here. I should expect to see 45, and this one is half of the 45, right? Things like that. All right, cool. And then we can do one more. This guy, and then this guy in the middle. One more constraint this time. This one will have 0.25, and the ankle will be having 0.75. Okay. All right, so they are all constrained the same way, but different weighting, right? So let me rename this guy lower leg twist 0.1. Okay, and then moving on to this guy will be 0.2, 0.3. Okay, so that's our twisting joints. They all behave properly now, right? Like this. Can twist really nicely. And I just need to use them to do the skin weighting also. So let me grab all three of these, and then the skin, do skin, added influence, and add influence, lock weighting, apply that, and then go back here to the punch skin weighting tool. Then I can start defining the weighting here. So now this guy, let me unlock all three, right? This guy will take a lot of control over here, right? So let me pen over here. So I want to actually make it dominate more than I think it should be, like this entire lower leg, because I don't want this knee to be able to control the bottom area anymore. So I want to have it a complete override, more or less. Then I can smooth that part out a little bit. Okay, cool. And then moving on to this guy, and this guy will cover the bottom area like this, right? Okay, and then moving on to this guy, that will completely cover the rest. Okay, should probably actually go from the bottom. Anyway, so now I can smooth them out a little bit. Okay, and just make sure that the knee doesn't control the bottom area anymore. It's gonna be this guy controlling this piece, right? I don't want that to be controlled actually. So this guy should be controlled by actually the ankle joint. So let me do that here. This guy. Okay. So let me use this guy to override back part of the weighting over here. Let me do some smoothing. Right. So make sure that this guy doesn't take control over there. This guy doesn't either. Maybe I can smooth it a little bit on the two edges, right? And then moving on to this guy. Okay, it's controlling that part. All right, so now if we do the rotation here, you can see we have a much more distributed twisting, right? That's much better than the twisting we have before, which only happens on this ankle area. This time it's actually twisting this entire segment. Okay, cool. So that's the simplest setup for twisting. You don't need IK at all or ribbon. It's just joints and constraints. Okay. All right. So after this, we can basically add the twisting joint. We don't really need to see them. Okay. And let's talk about the foot rig, right? For the foot rig, we still want IK and FK to have their individual controls. Let's do the FK first. FK is very easy. Okay. All we have to do now is basically duplicating the ankle. Let me dock this outliner here. Okay, so all I have to do is duplicate the ankle, Control D, and then shift select this ball joint, do a match all transform to match it there, and that's gonna be the ball controller, right? So back ball FK, and this is gonna be ball FK, right? And then it's going to be parented to the ankle, of course. And we have the control. And this control doesn't do anything, of course. But if you do recall, we're using 4-joint chain here on the leg. So the leg has a complicated setup. If you go to the node editor here, Let me move it here, right? So all we need to do is go to the setup here on the left back leg. You can see this is how we set it up with 3 joint chain system, but we have only all the way to the ankle. We need to have one more blend to make it work. Okay, so here I'm gonna go to a new tab and add in a new tab here, right? And add in our controller. Now we can create a driver joint, but because this is very simple, which is one segment, we can basically use the rotation of this as the blend colors input. So here we can create a blend colors, and then we can call this guy blend colors left back bow rotation. Okay, and if I go back and check, I'm seeing that IK is at the bottom, right? FK is oh, they're both IK. That's interesting. See, this one is, let's see. This one is IK, and this one is FK. So FK is on the top. Okay, that's right. So FK is on the top. IK is on the bottom. Okay. So if I drag the FK rotation to color 1, and then I just need to connect that to the binding joint. Okay. So this one, if I add this guy in and connect that, the output of the blend color to the rotation. Now I have the FK's input for that joint. Okay. And I should be able to use this to rotate. You can see it's halfway, right? That's because we don't have anything to control the blender. Let's go ahead and grab the blender here also. So it's going to be this guy and then blender, right? And just add this guy in, and this will go to the blender right here. Okay. So now let me try this. Oh, I have no control. I think I actually did that wrong, because the last time I do it, I do remember I'm using the bottom one. So let me disable that input. Okay, cool. All right, now that makes it having full control now. So that's all we have to do for FK. Actually, just a controller, a blend color. You use the same slider to control the blender, and FK goes to the one of the colors, and the result goes to the rotation of the ball joint, right? All right, so this is FK, simple, right? And then it's already working because, oh, that's the other side. Because this controller is also underneath the hierarchy, so the visibility is also working. So FK works completely now. Okay, you can see it's gonna blend back nicely also when we drag it back, right? Cool. So the question is, what goes to the other blend color, right? That's gonna be the IK's input. Someone has to do this, right? Now, for the IK, because we have to use a complicated setup to make the upper leg also follow when we bend different parts of the foot, we do need driver joint chain. Okay, that's probably the easier way. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the binding joint again, Control D to duplicate, and then I can make them very big, right? And then I can call these guys. Name this to foot, DRV IK, okay, and then that's going to be the DRV IK ball, and that's going to be the DRV IK toe, right? And then I'm going to group them together, and this is going to be, and then also on pirate, right? This is going to be our foot driver joint chain for the IK. FK we don't have any, right? It's fine. You know, we can, if we can simplify stuff, we can, and we should. And it can be actually also done the same way on the FK setup of the upper leg, of the leg. We don't really need a FK driver joint. You can just connect the rotation of the controllers. But it's safer to have FK driver joint, because once IK breaks, you can always refer the FK's location, FK joint's location, to get what you need. You can copy the joint orient or whatever value you messed up from the IK, and so that FK serves as a reserved correct default pose. Okay. Anyway, so now we have a IK driver joint chain, right? So for the IK driver joint chain, because we are only rotating this guy, right? So what we just need to do in the outliner, if I open that, sorry, in the node editor, is basically this joint, this ball joint, right? This one will be the only one we need to connect the rotation here. Yeah, it's here to, you know, to make IK's input. So now this one, oops, this one will be the IK inputs. Okay, I think I'm not all the way down yet. Let me drag it up to 1 and then rotate this guy. You can see this guy should have full control. It's not. So let me take a look at why. Back here to our joint here. So this is the rotation of the driver, and I can rotate it. It's not doing anything. Okay, we do have the input here. The blender is for clear that out. It's actually not going all the way down, I guess. You know what? I think I'm using the snapping. Okay, sorry about that. So now you can see it's working, right? So we can blend between IK and IFK. Let me zero out IK here. All right, cool. So again, what we did is basically a IK driver joint chain. I used the ball joint to control the other input of the blend color for the ball rotation to, you know, fulfill the IK's input. But again, this is just the IK driver joint chain. It's not doing anything yet. Okay, so back here, we need to set up this to make the IK work, right? First of all, the IK driver joint chain is not following. So if we go to the IK mode, and then use the IK controller to drag it, you can see it's not following, but there's also something weird happening. It's shrinking, right? That's not because it's actually shrinking on the scale, but rather there is actually a hidden setup in the joint, which preserves the scale of every different individual segment, preserve it from scaling with the parent. That's just how it's set it up. You can uncheck the segment scale compensation to fix that problem. Okay. Anyway, so let me go back to 0, 0, 0. Right. Now this guy will be able to, should be able to drag the joint, right? So what we can do is we can use the locator underneath it to do that. Okay, because the locator actually defines a lot of things. It's actually determining the stretching. So the locator will be the safer one. And also, because the IK handle is actually driving everything. So what I'm going to do here is actually make the locator the child of the IK handle, right? So we have only one thing that is following the controller instead of two. The locator then will have a constraint on the joint, parent constraint. Okay, so that way when I drag it down, you can see they're all following nicely, right? Cool. So let's go back to the driver joint here, right? One thing I want this driver joint to be able to do is to be able to actually drive the ankle here. Now we were using the original IK ankle driver joint chain to drive that. Okay, I'm going to delete that orient constraint. Oh, actually, I'm going to keep that orient constraint here. Oh, actually, I need to delete because you know that's this one. This constraint is from the controller, but now controller is not going to be the top node to drive this entire foot anymore, right? It's going to be up to the driver joint here. So I'm going to use this guy to do the orient constraint on the ankle. So it's going to be the constraint, a constraint orient. All right. So that way everything will, oh, it's not working. Let's see, because this one should be following, right? So this one should be constraining the ankle. Let's see. Oh, because my orient constraint is having just one input because I did that earlier, right? No problem. Just delete that and redo. Okay, so this guy will do a orient constraint on our ankle, right? So let's apply that. Okay, oops, forget to reset. Okay, now we can use this to rotate. All right, cool. Okay, so afterwards we need to set up some IKs. Back here to the driver join chain we just created. I'm gonna apply 2 IKs on it. So skeleton, create IK handles. We're gonna use single chain here, 1 IK, and then another one. Okay, for the 2 segments. And I can name this guy IK handle left, back, foot. Let's call this ball because it's on the ball joint, right? And this one will be the toe, right? And then I can grab both and parent them out to the same location where my other IKs is, right? So I have like my spring IK on the leg, right? And then the top, the ball and the toe IK handle, they're all there. They're all underneath the controller, so they all follows properly. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna select the ball and then the spring. The spring again is the one from the spring IK driver join chain, which drives the entire IK leg. I'm gonna Control G to group them together, and then move the pivot of that group to this joint over here. I'm gonna call this guy IK handle, put ball upper pivot, or pivot upper, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So this one will be able to rotate the upper part of the leg. That's why it's upper. Okay. And this one on the toe, I'm going to group it and also move the pivot to there, to the ball. But this time the naming will be lower pivot for the lower ones. Okay. So this one can rotate the front. And then I can group them together and then move the pivot to here. And then that's going to be the toe pivot, right? And you know what to do next, right? Control D one more time. And that goes to essentially here, right? And then, oh, did I Control D? I don't need to Control D, sorry. Control G one more time. And then move the pivot to here on the back of the heel. It's hard to do that. Let me just manually do that and holding the D button and drag it down there. Okay, I think I have the snapping on again or whatever. Anyway, so this is going to be the heel, right? Drag it over here. Okay. That's how I rotate the heel, like this. You can see with the stretching feature implemented, the heel backwards works much better because it does actually stretch the leg when you need to. Okay, and this behaves much better than our character because that one we don't implement the stretching. Just one more time, right? Control G and move it to the side, and Control G, move it to the other side. And those are going to be our other 2 groups. Inside pivot, and then outside pivot. Okay. Now you rotate different groups, you're basically rotating the foot and tilting it to based on different pivots, right? So after this, you should already know what to do. Just a bunch of side-driven keys to drive those groups, right, to get what you need. So there's actually no new stuff that needs to be introduced anymore, right? But just for the completeness, let me just finish out the side-driven keys, right? So to do that, I need to make sure that I have all the groups, right? I don't really need the node editor anymore, just a bunch of new attribute to add. So here, go to edit, add attribute, call this guy bow. We can call this lift. And try 10 and then negative 10. Okay, the default will be 0, right? And then add. Okay, I can go up or down. Right. and then go for modify. Actually, our animation, right? So it's gonna be animation key set key set, and our driver will be the controller, right? The driven one will be the group. So it's gonna be this guy upper, right? So let me move this guy away. Load driver, load driven, and it's gonna be the rotation Z, right? Ball lift, key them. Okay, now change the ball lift to, oops, let me change that to 0. Key it again. Okay, now change it to 10, and we're just rotating it up. Okay, 50, for example, and key it. Now go back to -10. I want to go the other direction, right? And then -50 maybe, and then key it. Okay, now I have this control, right, to lift. I'll need to fix that weighting. Destroyed it earlier, right? Anyway, so moving on to the next will be the, oh, actually we need more for the ball, right? So here we can add one more attribute. Call this guy bow, tilt, right? Tilt left and right, and then it's gonna be -10, 10, and okay. All right, I need to load driver one more time, bow tilt, and that's gonna be the same controller, same group, but this time it's gonna be the X direction, right? So rotation X, bow tilt, key it, back here, change to 10, and here I'm gonna tilt it 50. Okay, and then key it, and back here to -10, right? And here this will be the other way, -50, and key it. Okay, so now we have one more control, right? All right, let me zero that out. Just need to keep going. So after bow, we're gonna do the toe. Yeah, let me do this bow here, right? This one. Okay, so let me go for a add attribute. Call this one bow. It's actually the toe. Lift -10 to 10, right? And toe tilt -10 to 10, add, right? So now we have two more. We can load driver one more time. Oh, I think I added to something else. Let me do that again. So toe lift -10 to 10, add toe tilt. Hopefully the other one is fun. It should be fun because, you know, add new attribute doesn't really do anything if we don't do anything with it. So let me load driver again, right? Toe lift and toe tilt. That's going to be the toe one, which is going to be this guy, right? So load driven. Okay, the driver will be this one. Oh, I added it here. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna do the set driving key again, right? So the toe lift will be doing the Z here. So rotation Z, key it, go toe lift up, and then rotation Z will go up. Okay. -60 seems to be fun. Key it and go back to -10 here, and this rotates down, right, to 60. And key it. Now we can go back to 0. Doesn't do anything. So must have done something wrong. Maybe I'm using the other one. No, not using anyone. So must have selected the wrong thing. Let me break the connection here and zero it out. Okay, try that again. Okay, toe lift will be controlling the rotation Z, right? So key it, then go up to, oops, let me zero that out. Feeling really tired today. Okay, let me key it again, right? And then go to 10, and then here I'm gonna rotate up to -60. Right, and key it. Now go back here to make it -10. That goes down 60. And key it. Okay. So now I can use that to control this part. Okay. Now toe tilt will be the rotation X. Right. So toe tilt, rotation X, key it, go to the toe tilt, go to 10. You wanna go this way. -80 seems to be fun. Key it and then go back to -10, and then I can rotate it that way, 80, and then key it. All right. All right, hopefully this is gonna be fun this time. All right, have the bow lift, bow tilt, toe lift, toe tilt, right? And then we just need to keep on going. This one will be the tip, so load driven, right? And we need 2 more attribute. Okay, how this guy tip, lift, and a -10 to 10, and then tip, tilt, -10 to 10. Whoops. Default value will be 0. Okay. All right. Now load driver. I have 2 more. Right. Tip lift and tip lift and tip tilt. Forget to have the uppercase, so it does change that to there. I don't think we can change the name, so it's going to be like that. Oh, we can actually. So let me do that here. So tip lift, and then tip tilt. Okay, have a space up here, also over there. Okay. All right, now they're fun. I'm gonna go for load driver again, right? So that's gonna be the driver. The driven one will be the toe pivot. Okay, so I'm gonna key the rotation Z again with the lift, and then change the lift up to 10. Go for rotation Z and go up. 50 should be fun. Key it, and then back here to -10. Then that goes to negative values. Okay, so -50, and then key it. All right. All right, so back here, I can zero that out. And using the tilt to control X, key it, and then go change the tilt to 10, and then this guy, go this way, 60 degrees, 70. Key it. Okay, go back here to -10, and that goes to 70. All right, this doesn't bother me, like when it comes to the numbers, like I don't really want it to have like a specific number that is, you know, correct when it comes to anatomy, like how far I can go, but just rather like, you know, if I can push it further, I should, because you know that, you know, animation doesn't really require to be super realistic. Exaggeration is used all of the times, right? So, you know, if you limit it too much, it's not going to be that easy for the animators to get the push they want when they're doing the poses. Anyway, so yeah, that's one more. And moving on, we have the heel, right? It's going to be this guy. Right, this loads driven one here, and need new attribute. the same thing, heel, lift, negative 10 to 10, add, and heel, tilt. Oh, not tile. Okay, and reload the driver. We have two more, and again, lift will be the rotation Z, so key it, and then go back here and change that to 10, and we just lift it, right? I guess this is lift. Okay, all right, and then change that to 60. Okay, and then key it, then back here to the negative 10, and we just go for the other direction. Negative 70, key it, back to the controller, zero it out, using the heel now to control the rotation Z, X, and then just start keying. Okay, 80 here, key it, and then back to negative 10, we go for the other 80. So negative 80 here, and key it. All right. So the heel tilt, lift, right, tip, all those things. Just give them the full control of those rotations. All right, now we have the inside, outside. That's gonna be these two together. So load driven one, okay, and then I'm gonna say add attributes, okay, and it's gonna be the tilt in, out, or in and out. Should be fun here, and negative 10 to 10. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit add. Okay, and load driver. In and out will key both, right? Because it needs both to be involved. Okay, so that's out, that's in, right? Can grab both, and then do the rotation Y, I guess. Let me key that. Okay, and here then I can go to the tilt out and drag it to 10, and grab the outside and rotate it. Let me try 50. Okay, and even 70 here, and then we can key everything. Okay, now back here to the controller and go back to negative 10, and we tilt it towards the other side, 70 again, negative 70 this time, and key both again just to be safe. Now we have the tilt in and out, right? Cool. So one more thing, I call it working pose, but you can call it whatever. So add one more attribute, call this guy working poses. Okay, negative 10. Oh yeah, it's gonna be actually negative 10 to 20, and then okay, because I kind of wanted to be able to go from back, right, to middle and to top. Okay, now to do that we need actually some shifting or offset groups for our group, because they are all set driven keyed already, right? So here I'm going to look for the one that controls the upper pivot, this one, right? And I need to give it a group, and then just copy whatever we have here and add an offset in the name. Okay, right, and that's one of the driven ones, right? And then we have the toe here, right? This one, Control G, and again just add an offset in the name. Right. Well, this and this offset needs to have the pivot also over there, of course. All right, so we have this. We have the toe pivot. It's fun. Offset. Offset needs to be here again, right? And then the heel offset, right? So Control G. Okay. Now this time the pivot I want it to be over there, so I'm gonna group the ones inside. That doesn't really help. Just want it to be there. So I can do this. Go for display, transform display local rotation axis. Right. Let me bring that back, and don't really need that group on the inside. It can be inside or outside, doesn't really matter, but just to keep everything consistent. So I'm gonna group this guy again, but this time I can use D and V to move the pivot to where that is. Okay, and then copy the name and add an offset to the naming. So we have 3 offset groups, right? The ball offset this part, the toe offset this part, and the heel offsets the heel, right? Now that's going to be the 3 driven ones, okay? 3 offset group, okay? And that's going to be the rotation Z. So I'm going to grab rotation Z, and then also to my controller, I'm going to load driver again to have the new attribute updated, right? I'm going to grab that and the rotation Y and then key it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go for -10, and that's gonna be only for the heel to rotate back, right? So, oh, did I do the Y? Sorry about that. So we actually do that on the Z. Okay, make sure that have the Y. Okay, rotation Z, key it. Oh, did I key Y again? Okay. All right, so here let's go to the -10, and I'm gonna grab the heel offset and rotate it backwards. -45 looks good, and key it. Okay, and then I'll key everything actually, and then go back here and change it to 10. For 10, I want the ball to rotate up, so that goes here. 50. Key everything. Okay, now to 20, right? And that's going to cause all of them to go, actually these guys to go 0, and just the toe to rotate up. Okay, so we 50 again, and then key everything actually. All right, cool. So now we have this working pose that does all these, right? All right, that's all the side driven keys. You can see they take more time than actually the initial setup to just get the groups and everything. So, just have to deal with all the side driven keys, offset group, and the IK creation, of course. All right. Now when we're done, we can do some organization. For these ones, underneath the controller, right? We can basically hide everything. There's just one group, right? We can hide everything over there. And we have a foot driver joint. And that driver joint chain can be also just parented to the leg driver joint chain group, which is going to be over here, right? P button to parent that, underneath that. And that should be everything we need to do. Okay. And let's take a look. Right, everything works like a charm. And go to the FK. Cool. All right, so that's the foot setup. Hope that's not taking you so long, but this is just one thing you have to deal with when you're dealing with things that needs a lot of controls. You just have to go there and then do all the set driven keys, all the attribute to add. They're repetitive stuff, so just have to deal with it. All right, so now we have set it up everything we need for the body parts. We didn't do the tail, but that's something identical to the neck, so you can do that, of course, if you want. The assignment will be to do the foot rig and the twisting joint for the other leg, and we're basically done with the body setup of this giraffe. Okay, all right, thanks for watching. See you next time.